Greetings. This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. I have my friend, brother, and a local minister here in Valdosta, and since we all have been following what's been going on at the Lowndes County High School after the death of Kendrick Johnson and my almost three-year criminal trespass, and Dr. Rhonda Cross Scott had an encounter with her young daughter, we felt it necessary to help you understand what's going on here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, in the state of Georgia. And I couldn't think of a better person to come and share with you some points of interest, especially when it comes to your children that are attending the Lowndes County High School. So I'm going to pass this over to John Robinson, and he's going to give you just a little bit more information.
Yes, how y'all out there this morning? I'm John Robinson, and there are some issues that surround the school that raise questions, especially when it comes to black students that participate in the school system. It seems as if they are manipulated, kind of guided in the wrong directions as far as the making preparation for their future. Sometimes when you take a look at the ratio and the type classes that they'll be involved in, you'll find that the ratio of architects, engineers, doctors, the students be kind of like guided in the wrong direction by the faculty of the school board. Now, I had some encounters with my grandchildren. They live here with me, and they was going into high school, and they wanted to become architects and engineers. So when we would go out to the school and sit down with them, they go to letting us know that the classes were filled out, and we wondered how the classes always be filled out and what was the ratio of the black students versus the white students that's in the classes. And we come to find that there was like 25 to 30 students versus maybe one black, like that. So when I sat down with the counselors to talk with them, they were telling me what classes they had available. I said, no, I want my grandkids to be in engineering and architecture of this nature here. And they was giving them elective classes. I said, no, that's not what we want. So they would let me know that they make the decisions, not the parent. So, you got this thing that it starts at home. How can it start at home and you don't have no control over your children's future? So I goes out and I talked with the counselor and Mr. Upchurch, and I let him know that any Robinsons that come through that school, as far as from my house, that they are going to be in the drafting and leading to engineering and architecture. So now, from this point forward, any of my grandchildren that go to that school and it says so Robinson, he automatically let them know that they're going to take one of these meaningful classes. See, our futures are altered because we end up going into the wrong fields. And we need to be in something that's meaningful. And when it comes down to the scholarships, I found that out of $10, $12 million, there's no blacks getting none of the scholarships. Very few blacks get involved in the scholarship plan. It seems like they're excluded by some means. And it just looked to me like there's a certain amount of exclusion there, in which it is. Something is very wrong in this county in general. All the way from the school boards of education. It just seems to be corrupt in this area here. It seems as if there's some form of a plantation mentality when it comes to we'll take care of our own. And it's sad for me to have to say it this way, but there was an old plantation mentality that we take care of our niggers, and that's a sad way of putting it. But that was the old plantation mentality of the South. And it seems as if we don't hear it directly in that manner now, but it seems as if that's what's being, the sentiment that's being echoed, and that seems to be the mentality that you have here. Speaking to one young lady, just to give you a general idea, that she was working for, I believe, a defects, and she went to certain people's house, and they said that you're not allowed inside of my home, and the girl was black, and she says, well, I'm assigned to see about this child. She says, well, you can't come into my home. That time her husband come up, I understand, and he said no black person is allowed in my house.
You say it's in Valdosta?
Yes, it was in Valdosta. So, you see, when we come to that, we can share this world together outside, but when it comes down to these personalities, and these people ends up being in positions in schools, banks, and hospitals, and this is the mentality that they have, so they feel that they have to cope with you, a black person, to a certain degree, but when it really boils down, it's like old singing, I can work with you, but you can't live next door to me. You can live next door to me, but you can't work with me. It's this kind of scenario here, and it's a very sad picture. It is, Doc.
Well, Rob, go on and tell us the rest of the story about that, because you tell us the rest of the story about it.
Well, the girl ended up, the young girl that this lady was going to see about, she needed special care. They had a child that needed special care, and the child ended up having a seizure, what I understand, and got to the hospital, I believe it were. And when she got to the hospital, they needed to see a specialist, and this young black lady was the specialist that they called for. And the people looked right up in her face, the same ones that said that they didn't want in the house. And ended up, she was the one that had to give her the care. They said that they needed the very best to see about her, and she was one of the best. And she let them know that if you didn't want me to see about your child, you maybe don't need me to see about it now. And they said, no, we want the best for our child. You see, so, and then when they called the doctor, and the doctor was black. You see, so people got to face the hardcore truth now. And it's time that we get beyond this. But how can one get beyond it? One can, but the other won't. That's the sad part about it.
Another thing, Doc, as we listen to all of the people on television who make a big distinction between Democrat, Republican, Independent, and Green Party, and say that everybody is crazy, they ain't got no sense unless they are conservative or however they want to view it. But if they have a brother, a sister, or a wife that may not be a conservative, then do you think that they criticize their own mama to the degree that we hear on Fox News and others? Do you think they criticize their mother, their father, their wife simply because they're not of the same persuasion, because they say all Democrats and liberals are crazy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So how do you think they feel about that? You know.
Well, let's look at the Donald Trump picture.
Okay.
Now, you got a lot of people following Donald Trump right now because their true feelings of this mentality that I'm talking about, and he's speaking out boldly along those lines, and it's letting you know how America think, man. It's the way these people are thinking today. It's the way they're thinking. Mm-hmm. And now it's being exposed. The truth is revealing the truth of the matter. Mm-hmm. And by it being the truth, you got to face the facts of reality now. And people, this thing done got chaotic, man. It don't make sense.
So, other words, by the American people electing President Barack Obama, that also helped to shed light on the real America, didn't it?
Oh, of course.
And now, of course, with Donald Trump, it's also helping to shed more light on the real inner feelings of the American people, which only, in truth, can help expose the sore of America so the sunlight can come in and possibly give America a racial healing.
You might be got a good point. You might be got a good point. You might be got a good point. See, first of all, you got to face the facts, and the facts of it is what it is. Okay, and people feel the way they feel. Like the young lady, like the lady said, I can deal with you out here, but you can't come into my house.
Right.
You understand? I can deal with you out here, but you can't come through this door.
But Doc, when you really think about all of that, and when you look at the fact that I don't know where it happened, but I'm up in my 60s now, and I never heard it this bad before. So now at 60-some years old, I'm getting out where in truth, my beautiful brother, I really don't want to go to a conservative doctor. I'm gonna go to a Democratic doctor. In fact, I don't even want to buy a car from a conservative. In fact, I don't know if I should even. I mean, this thing is getting bad now, man.
Yeah, but the big question
because they may want to cast my vote in the trash so bad until, can I trust them to give me accurate medical treatment? I mean, from what I hear on Fox News and how bad they hate another political.
Okay.
You get the message.
Okay. Number one, you don't have a country. You don't have a country. That's number one. Now.
That's debatable, but you go ahead.
Now, that means that you don't have nobody on your side.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter which party, neither one of them is for you.
Okay.
Bottom line. Not even the Democratic Party.
Right. Okay.
It's just a ticket you can use to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
But as far as it being for you, it's not for you. Neither the Republican Party. Neither one of them is for you. The Republicans set you free, but you see what he come around and done to you? See how you feel about you today? And running Abraham Lincoln a Republican?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
And did not the Republicans what the greater the war to bring freedom about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then didn't they have the big switcheroo?
Yes, sir, they did. But Louis Farrakhan put it like this. Black people, from the time that they came to these shores in the year of 1555 aboard a slave ship called Jesus, captained by one Sir John Hawkins, a European slave trader. From 1555 until we finally got a right to vote, Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, under the teachings of Elijah Muhammad and his teacher, who was a white European by the name of Master Farad Muhammad, taught the nation that we either vote for the devil or Satan. He said, because that's the best we could do in this country. So regardless of who we vote for, I mean, I'm 60-some years old. I never dreamed that I would see what I'm seeing now. And I'm a retired military veteran. And I'm under almost a 3-year criminal trespass for nothing.
You went and fought for a nation that didn't belong to you.
Absolutely.
That's true.
And I'm saying it today.
And Bush, before he went out of office, he signed the green card for Black America. They can stay here another 200 years.
Another 200 years. That's correct. A lot of people don't know that.
And people, and no one is focusing on that.
They ain't questioning. Just the civil rights organizations are not addressing that. The Congress need to clear that up, abolish it.
That need to be abolished, y'all.
Because they really trying to make us look like fools.
Man, listen. You could stay here for another 200 years legally. That says that you do not have a country. You don't have a nation. You were just born on its soils. You can't claim Africa as your home because it's not. You can't claim America of your home because it's not. Because it's denying you being its child, even though you was born upon its soil. So when it comes down to discrimination, it's still a discriminatory practice even by your federal government.
Doc, I don't want to make this too long, but at the same time, I want to give enough knowledge so the people can get back home.
I know, you're right.
So, looking at what Dr. Rhonda Cross Scott has addressed at the Lowndes County High School after the death of Kendrick Johnson, not after, but still my pending criminal trespass, it seemed as if though there is no fairness in the system. And I believe that it extends to economics, the contracts, which you've been talking for at least 12 years here. I know I don't want to open that ball of worms, but I want you to close us out about the contracts, which also may be an impediment and a suppression of the advancement of Black Americans.
Anytime you kill your social economics, you kill the communities. Anytime you kill social economics, you kill the community. Because if a community is economically unstable, it cannot support itself. Okay? Right now, we, as the black community, are enslaved to a system of returning the dollar back. In other words, you need to have things where you say keep the dollar in the neighborhood. See, there once was an operation in Chicago called Operation Breadbasket, keep the dollar in the neighborhood. And people was catering to one another. People was helping each other. And you'll find that become very efficient. But when you got to go out and hold a job, you go outside of your community, get a job. You go outside of the community, you take the money back to the service station, you take the money back to Walmart, you take the money back to J.C. Penney's, you take the money back to Birdines, you take the money back to Publix, you take the money back to Kroger's, you take the money back to any of these stores I'm naming. And this way everybody's normally shopping. And then you'll come back to church on a Sunday and you get therapy that lasts another week. When you jump up and shout and get it out your system and you go and you continue another week. After a while you grow old and gray like I am. Okay? Then when you go to looking at the relevance of it all, then you find out that a lot of the things is irrelevant from the irrelevant thinking, from the irrelevant way people are thinking. Now, based upon what's occurring, I live out here where I live, okay? And my grandkids go to Lowndes County. Now, to make certain that a child go to school, they'll come here to my house with flashlights, look all through my home, making sure this is where this child lives.
Are you telling the truth?
Oh yes, like this, see, make sure this child live here in this house, and it kind of reminds me of the Gestapo tactics, okay? And we have to let them in, and they say this is where his bedroom is, this is where he sleep, this is where she sleep. Yes, this is where they sleep. Therefore, they can go to Lowndes. Why are you so ever protected? That's my question. Why? Now, when we turn and go to the south side, we find a school that's predominantly black, and you can't find 10 white students in the school.
Or that many black teachers.
You understand? Something is wrong. Then when you go to the other black school, where they're in the building New Valdosta High School, you find it's 87% black students. But then Lowndes is so protective, you see, to make sure none of these students get an opportunity to go to that school. So it's a whole lot here that's wrong and need to be looked into. When it come down to the contracts, I wish you could have been there to see all the big trucks that wheeled into that day, and all of them was white except for 2 contractors that was black. Okay? And they came in and they got the $84 million sold up, and they got it for a black school and a black community, and yet none of that money is going back into the neighborhood or the community. Yeah, we're going to protest that, and we're going to stay on that. And they're not going to be able to build a school in peace. That's not a threat. That's just how it is. You know, I spoke with a gentleman today about some issues pertaining to that. As a matter of fact, his name is Warren Lee, one of the guys on the board. And he was letting me know that certain things is not going to happen. That we might do a sit down, but certain things they won't be able to undo. Now, they got the power over the last say of the board, and these contracts have not been awarded. So that means that there's an opportunity here that people can actually get some jobs. See, but everybody's protecting this funds and this money that's going outside of the neighborhood and community. Well, what about just a small contractor, whether he's black or white? What about him? What about him?
What about all this money just leaving Valdosta Lowndes County, period?
Just leaving the county.
Regardless of whether any skin color on it.
You understand?
We dealing with human beings here. All these children, all this money going to be going to Moultrie or wherever these contracts and a lot of them from what Travis Cox said, is that there are illegal aliens who going to be working, getting this money, taking it back to their country. Look, they talk about building a wall. If they put a wall around the new schools that are being built, if they build a wall around all these county and city buildings that's being built, if they just put a wall around them so these illegal aliens can't come and work on these buildings without having workman comp, as he said it, or without having any kind of insurance on these people, then maybe that would resolve that issue about building a wall on the borders. Maybe we need to put a a wall around these buildings that's being built, then we won't have to put no wall around the coastline.
We need to build a wall in petitions of law. Okay? See, when it comes to these dollars, Doc, the upper echelons of power here in Lowndes County controls it.
Along with their help in Atlanta, like
Now,
the HUD office.
yes.
They got contacts in right places.
They got
in key
contacts
places.
in all the key places, Doc. And the problem that we're having is that we get $400 million projects come through, like our PCA. We didn't get none of the money from that. We get a bridge come through. We didn't get no money from that. We get another bridge come through. We didn't get no money from that. I'm talking about 70 million, 60, $70 million projects. And it's a shame. So when you get through totaling it out, you're looking at pretty close to $800–900 million. That's what came through in one single year. That based upon the needs of low-income people. And then these people don't get a chance to enjoy anything of it and just stay suppressed. And that's wrong, though. That's absolutely wrong. And I'm standing here to say today that we're going to fight, though. Point blank. And as a minister, I love the Lord Jesus with all my heart and soul. And he given me common sense. Those things that I can't do for me, he'll do for me. And I don't need him to help me with this, Doc.
Say one thing. Say what, Doc?
I don't need him to help me with this. I handle this, Lord. We handle this part right here. You just bless us, you know. Just bless us to keep our ammo that we need. Now, the ammo I'm talking about is whatever kind of ammo you want to think about. Now, if you want to think that's the lead ammo, so be it. If you want to think it to be the wisdom ammo, so be it. Whatever ammo you want it to be, you call the shot on that.
Or economic withdrawal.
Economic withdrawal. Whatever the ammo may be. It don't even matter.
I think all of us need to carry a football around the city a little bit.
Well,
put it on our shoulders.
If we don't carry the football, our kids definitely need to quit toting it and quit playing it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They need to stop right in the middle of the game, though. And let it be known that their mother lived at Hudson Dock in the early West. And that they striving for a cause that don't benefit them. Now we get one guy like Godfrey come out. Okay? Godfrey can tell his story. He can tell you he's very successful. He can tell his story. And he bees here. He come out among us. You know? And he come from among us.
And you got to watch. You know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
In truth, you know what time it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like a lot of people sitting on the Board of Education, sitting on City Council. They know what time it is because they'll tell us in the bathroom.
That's right.
With the door closed and the commode lit down and us in the commode. They'll tell us what the real problem is.
Yeah, no.
But when they get out among us and among white people, they can't speak the same languages like it's a foreign language, that things that are unfair in executive session. They won't come out and talk about it, but yet they talk to the news report about what happens in the executive session because I have found that out as a reporter in 16 cities about the newly elected black mayors. And so I know that what goes on in executive session, black people don't talk about it, but white folks talk to their constituents, and they publish that.
I do agree. I want to say this, is that they won't shed no light on the good that Godfrey do. They won't shed no light on that, dog. Okay? They won't shed no light on that. That he come down in the community and put his business down in the black community. They won't shed no light. They won't shed no light on nothing that's done with a positive aspect, but from a black perspective, dog. They show you everything else, but they won't show you what some of the blacks are doing that's trying to build, like Blake over there trying to build his place.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to throw an obstacle at Blake, especially from downtown.
And he just keep building.
And he keep building. And what we gonna try to do? Oh man, we might not work on it right at this very moment, but man, if it be God's will, we gonna see if we can get that street open back up so that black business can flow back down through that. Cars can travel back down through there and bring some livelihood back. In other words, you can make a choice. You either go over the bridge or go down that way if you want to go down in. But right now, they just block completely.
Oh, well, it's a blockade.
Yeah, it's a blockade.
Doc, I really appreciate this talk, an interview if you want to call it, but this is more than an interview. They do interviews. What we do, we view the instruction of the system. And so I'm not going to say an interview. I'm going to say the structure of what's going on here. But I want you to close out by saying this, my beautiful brother. Tell me, as a minister at your church, as a community activist, and as a man of persuasion, what do you say to Dr. Rhonda Cross Scott, for standing up for her child when so many other mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers will not stand up for theirs? What do you say to her as a black woman here in Lowndes County, Georgia?
Stay focused. Stay in the fight. Sustain the courage that you have, and recognize that you is absolutely right. And do not allow nobody, no individual, not none, to stir you in a negative manner, okay? And in any negative direction. Stay positive, because you are absolutely correct. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing, regardless of any pressures that might come towards you, regardless of how it may seem. You know, continue to express the love that you have for your child. Stand behind them, because you is absolutely right. Something is wrong here in Lowndes County, and you got all our support, 100%.
All right, thank you so much, my beautiful brother. John H. Robinson. I met him years ago. I haven't been disappointed, not one day, in nothing about this man. He is a soldier. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Let me just say this. The reason I can stand here and say this, and I don't care who know this, all of you that know and heard of Manuel Noriega, he was the president of a little country called Panama. Well, Noriega was in the basement doing a trial that I was involved in a federal civil litigation that lasted 12 years.
Preach.
Okay? 12 long years. And I was down there when they were shooting in the Miami courthouse, when the George Hoover had the heart attack. Now, I'm saying this, I lost everything that we owned and had, but we won the case. We won the case. And it was John Robinson versus Calkins, Indian Town Citrus Company, Henry Ford's son-in-law, okay? Eleanor Ford's husband. And we won the case, and we sued him on an individual basis, as an individual, okay? And it was granted by the United States federal courts. No, Miss Scott, fight on. Believe me, you will win your case. Fight on.
Thank you very much. And this is the Ghetto Free Press. George Boston Rhines. We are covering about 16 cities now with the newly elected black mayors. The regular mainstream media will not report, but the Ghetto Free Press, by the powers of God, we're going to continue to report what others ignore. Bye-bye. We're gone.